Yo, what is going on, guys? Godrekton here today, bringing you a VOD review on this game against Gangplank. So, for my older viewers, you guys might know that I've always been into my VOD reviewing, and VOD reviewing is essentially a really big part of what makes me enjoy the game too. I love being very analytical. I love being able to know what I can do better. I like to show what I can do good, great, B even. Like, I like to show how to play the game from a fundamental aspect when I'm not present within the game. I like to be watching and just to commentate my actions and to tell you guys exactly what I've done in 100% detail. Being that I stream a lot of my games, I typically don't really get to have the best commentary skills just due to the fact that I'm live, I'm talking to up to 100 viewers. I'm trying to, focus on the game. I have music. Like, there's a lot of attributes that kind of take me away from explaining things. And being that I can watch in a VOD review, it kind of helps me talk about every single thing I'm doing and also tell my viewers everything that you should be doing too in order to win matchups, play out situations, etc., etc. So, before I used to do full game length VOD reviews, but at the moment, I think I just want to do like certain tidbits of a game. For this game, I actually want to cover over the first 15 minutes of the game, which is against Gangplank here. Gangplank currently is one of the most stronger matchups within the game. Gangplank possesses a pretty insane pick rate right now due to influencers like Tyler1 playing him on stream and obviously really good one-tricks like Solabaka. People like this have made the champion, catapult into, the meta, like flavor of the top of champions. And being that it's a meta pick, a lot of people are currently struggling with it. And I do think that Gangplank is definitely overpowered right now. I think he is extremely insane. But I also do think Godrekton poses quite a lot of strengths to actually beat Gangplank. And until the nerfs next patch, I think this current way I played the game is definitely how I think people should be trying to play the matchup. And again, well, not again. Just before I get into the game, I do want to elaborate that I was using Prowler's Claw this game. I went for a more full AD playstyle with Conqueror. If you guys are wondering why I'm going these, well, I do have a Ruin video coming out soon, and also I have a build guide too if you guys want to check that out, just to know my thoughts and opinions. But going Conqueror with Prowler build is not really that bad. It just means I have really strong laning, and then I can pivot into having a Prowler's Claw, which allows me to one-shot people and be a force to be reckoned with too. But for this matchup, I really like Conqueror. I like the sustained damage it gives me in a matchup like this, allowing me to stat check the Gangplank. I feel like I'm more mental blocked to PTA. I never really had a lot of success with it. Conqueror allows me to do more riskier fights. It allows me to get bigger heals off my Q and sustain more damage trades against him. And ultimately, that's what just works on me. And if you guys are at a standstill with this matchup or like any other kind of matchup, I do recommend just switching runes because it can be a giant difference just to figure out the power level and just the way you play into a matchup. Because ultimately, you can't just play the same way in one matchup with like another different build or like keystone, because things operate differently. And with this game, I definitely think it was kind of like one of those things as well. So to just get on with the VOD now, I start D-Shield, and for runes, I take Second Wind, Unflinching, Tenacity. I took Tenacity this game because they have a lot of CCs. We look at the Seraphine stuns, her ultimate, Senna W, Malzahar ult. There's a lot of things that my Tenacity can work against and provide me with a lot of extra utility for playing the game. And obviously I have the Conqueror. It helps me do longer fights. It also allows me to pivot into more of a bruiser build if so that I, foul this matchup. It doesn't hurt to go Godrekton at this game. However, I do think just going Prowler's Claw is basically a free win. And because all these people are playing Glass Cannon Gangplank, I feel like it's such an easy playstyle to abuse on Prowler's Claw compared to a Grass playstyle with Triforce. And I think that's where like the Prowler's Claw kind of like does better.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So level 1, the first thing you should be really thinking about is the things that are going to be happening in the present. A lot of people like to autopilot. A lot of people let their mind drift away from the actual focus of the game. And this game, I could simply just stand here and maybe in another type of like set of champions, they could evade me from topside. So right now, I'm going to go cover the Tri-Bush, which covers for the level 1 invade, potentially from a Senna, which could happen in Seraphine. They have a lot of stuns and even some damage that can end up dealing with me, which can potentially kill me too. So right now, we do 5 points, where we have 5 people on the map just guarding. Karma could be here, but she wasn't. She's next to the IDC. But it's fine either way. So level 1, just stand in this bush, waiting around, and just waiting for like to leash my Viego. Some people like to have push against Gangplank, but ultimately I don't really care, to be quite honest. I like just to leash my junglers. There are some matchups where game to lane first really matters, like Urgot. Otherwise, you'll just be completely abused in the level 1, and it'll just zone you off XP minions. So it's just some little things to think about. But obviously I will be talking about more of these strategies as I do more of these type of videos. So as we're leashing, let's talk about the matchup. So Gangplank's strengths in this lane is definitely his poke, it's his passive damage, the fact that he can cleanse RW with his own W, and also heal. And that's basically as much as it really goes. Because Gangplank start with like a typically aggressive start, they will go like longsword just for like core fields, or they'll end up going like D-Blade. This guy this game took longsword because he has the longsword. Wait, did I say D-Blade twice? I meant longsword either way because he goes to core field. Regardless, this guy is incredibly squishy. I do think when it comes to health, maybe he should be squishier, but regardless, this start makes him incredibly abusable, and all I need to do is just poke him with Qs. So right away, level 1, he's just gonna walk up and try to proc passive on us. His passive does a lot of damage. It scales for the game too, and can like do up to like 600 damage, true damage that is, which scales off 80 in crit. So it's really a like huge leap of damage. And right now it's 76 true damage, and that's basically more than our ignite. He has a built-in ignite off passive. That's like how disgusting this champion is. So if he has an ignite up every so often, we have to consider that. Like, if an enemy has Ignite against us, they're going to consider that. Like, level 1, GP thinks, okay, he has Ignite. He can potentially kill me if I'm low enough. And I have to think the same way, but every so many seconds. And obviously, this also gets refreshed every so often from killing barrels, and etc. So yeah, level 1, GP wants to hit me with the first strike, or Q, walk up, proc passive, and do like a lot of damage to me. So I need to kind of like keep my health up and make sure I avoid that passive. I don't really care about his Q. I have the D-Shield and Second Wind, and this is after the nurse, I'll have you. So I can sustain this damage, and he's just wasting all his Qs on me, which do require a lot of mana, and he doesn't have a corrupting pot, which has been nerfed for a while since when he used to abuse it. So with that said, like level 1, I don't really need to be that scared. It's just his passive. So level 1, I do want to get my Q off, but my clicks were really bad here. Some people will just click into GP to greed for auto Q, but you'll end up losing it level 1 against the Gangplank. And this is typically what kind of happens here. We trade, he autos, I get bone plating, I get too close, and he does a lot of damage to me. He does over 200 damage pretty much, and he barely takes, you know, he just takes like 50. So you have to be really careful of how you just click into champions. Like, you want to assess that, you want to like do like a risk assessment, like in the actions you're doing. Obviously, it's better after the game to like clearly see what I'm seeing right now. So level 1, obviously the passive did a lot of damage, and now I do want to just try and get shove. I'm just going to last it. I'm also letting him poke me a bit, so he takes minion damage. I will just go for Q here. A mistake a lot of players make into this lane is that they AAQ first, and I'll talk about like, if there's 6 minions and they're in the middle, level 1, a Renekton will walk up when he has no passive, auto Q, and then Gangplank will auto, then Q back, and Renekton will lose the trade. Why does Renekton lose the trade though? That's because all the minion damage being dealt, Renekton will take more damage here, and GP can just like, you know, walk back as well. So it's not worth, but what tends to work is Qing him while he like Qs you. He'll take a lot of minion damage, you end up healing some of his damage he deals to you, and you'll get bone playing, you'll shove the wave. Like, Gangplank can't really contest with that level 1. So when it comes to level 2, we can go for an all-in and typically kill him. And this is going to be really important to see as well. So because I learned from my mistake too, I do end up queuing the way I want. And I'm starting to push minions in. You just get 2 before me here. That's completely fine. I'm now level 2 as well. Gangplank will always put like at least one barrel behind him if he knows what he's doing. Especially against a dash champion, because if I dash into him, he can place a barrel here instantly, shoot it, and then detonate me, slow, and run off. And also, if I get any closer, he can fire it into the minion wave, and I take a lot of damage. So it's just a really important aspect in understanding why I use these barrels too. So what's my plan right now? My plan is just to kind of last it, go for some EQ trades, get his health down. He does have the first strike, so I do need to be the first one to hit him. I could EQ here on the edge and proc the first strike and disengage. And I think that's what I tried to do. I do a classic EQ auto trade, which is a Q animation cancel combo. Quickly get my damage in and out. I get rid of his first strike and apply safe damage. I bait a barrel, which he panics and puts here instead, which is barely anything when he could place here. And it kind of works for me here. He gets low too. You got to remember, he has a longsword start here, so he's very squishy and susceptible to dying. Next, we put our ward down 230, 240. Perfect ward timer if you're going to play top lane. For this type of game where they started bot side, like Wukong started bot side, he's going to path up around the 3-minute mark, potentially like finish 320. Start walking to top lane, and having the ward there covers for this gank. Or any like cheesy things where maybe he like comes up. Actually, he started top side here. Oh, never mind. I actually already autopiloted that. Well, I mean, some games will do that, but I think the meta at the moment is just going from top to bot, because that's what wins games. But again, in another game too, he does counter jungles and, you know, tries to take something too. But my jungler started red, so it's all fine. But again, it's just things to think of as well, and just jungle tracking as well, knowing where jungle starts. I probably should have elaborated that more as well, and that also just shows like what I'm trying to learn at the moment again, because I'm a little bit rusty on my VOD reviews, but I do want to just point that out there too. Definitely understanding where jungle starts is a huge factor, because that allows you to play more aggressively and allows you to also plan for what's to come as well. So because he started topside, I can also just learn that, like, you know, he's going to go towards bot, I can be more aggressive. Even plan to dive him here if I play it properly. So, yeah. So the next thing I'm looking at here is that Gangplank already used a lot of mana. This guy used his whole mana bar pretty much, and he's half health. I'm on the verge of hitting level 3, so I actually can go for a fight, timing off like these minions here. So I E in, I Q, I walk back out. I'm literally about to hit level 3. I get level 3 here, minion dies, I dash in with empowered E. Auto, empowered W, auto, and then you get the kill like that. Let me play it in fast motion real quickly just to show you in real time as well. I should do that first actually. So again, I'm just timing the minions. I go back in here. And just like that, we kill him. Oh, sorry, it wasn't empowered D. My bad, it wasn't empowered D. Again, just a third time. So we kill him on the level 3, and we've had the wave set up too. Gangplank's gonna have to use TP here, and he's gonna, like, he'll potentially miss out a lot of minions too. Unfortunately, with how my wave state was, I actually had to stay here. This could be greed. So at this time in the game, if Wukong did actually start bot side, he could come top right now, and I can't really push this. So I have to recall, and then he ends up getting this whole like minion wave, and the wave's kept in a really frustrating place where he can freeze if he has good wave management. But because I kind of learned that, you know, he's not coming topside right now, I push in. Let me go back a little bit, sorry. So again, waves in a frustrating place. I end up staying. I have Fury. I don't have to worry too much about his poke because I have the second Wind D shield. I have Fury for empowered Q. I have a giant minion wave. There's a lot of things that Gangplank has to think about too. I do a small trade here. Get his bone playing. I disengage. It doesn't really matter that I blow my combo here on bone playing because my whole trade was pretty effective there due to the fact that he's already occupied on like stuff, and I get my damage off in a quick time and I take 0 damage back. And I end up getting a pretty good Q heal too. Right now, Gangplank's trying to ego. He's already losing a lot of health to these minions. Like, look at all the damage these minions are doing to him, by the way. Like, they hit hard. You have a minion that does 20 damage each. That's like nearly going up to 100 damage worth. It is going to 100 damage worth, actually. Like, with these 4 minions. So, all those minions doing 1 auto attack will do 100 damage. Just off 1 Q alone and walking up doing a trade like this. And the more minions that I have here, the more damage that he's going to be taking. So, because I knew my minion wave was big enough, I knew if he tried to, like, go for any of these fights on me, it'd end up playing, like, a big factor in, just able to, like, handle him with him. And now I set up my trade and just kill him like that. So, again, it's pretty simple, like, stuff this so far, like, just abusing him. He actually didn't take W here either, so maybe the matchup would have been a bit different if he did take it, but I think I'm going to dive him regardless, like, and we did catch Wukong bot lane. Like, the way this guy played completely, I would probably still dive him regardless, you know? And some Gangplank players won't exactly W here, but obviously, he could have W'd here, his health would have got back. I would have still, like, auto-Q'd maybe and killed him. Like, he has no summoners. He's practically dead anyways, or he has to recall. So, regardless if he took W or not, I can still, like, just kill him here, or at least, like, force him to back off the next minion wave. So, it's a pretty messed up situation regardless. I guess the only little difference that could have been made is if I did go in here and he had W, I'd have to disengage a lot earlier because he breaks out my W. But again, that's just exploiting an enemy mistake.
Red team double kill.
Wish I had more water for this. Yeah, right now I get my first back at 4 minutes, get the Dirk into boots. So this, right now, I have so much damage that Gangplank could not really compete with me at all. I basically nuke him every chance I get. Gangplank's trying to push hard right now. I'm just walking in and out, trying to anticipate his barrels. Don't really want to take that damage. He couldn't afford the Sheen, so he went double longsword here. So this makes my start even more insane as well, just so you guys know. Right now, I also see that Viego's topside, and being that he's topside, we can get a gank on the Gangplank if he has no wards. And being that he has no flash too, it makes him a pretty easy target to kill. But at the moment, we're just going to farm. He goes into Fog of War. Farm every minion we can. Get that perfect last hitting. So at this point in the game, I have a few options here and a few things that I can think about. So we just kill the whole minion wave there and our wave is met here. A lot of low elo players won't even think about this situation. They'll just end up shoving the whole entire wave without even thinking or like giving them time like to think as well. I think that's what also separates a lot of like lower ranked players to begin with from high elo players. In these times, we have time to think about. Time is everything, you know. Time is, you know, the essence. Like, being in this situation right now, I could completely destroy this wave. But what does that achieve? I shove in, maybe Gangplank shows up, and then I have nothing else to do. Like, there's nothing else to take. Like, I'm kind of limited on options a little bit. But keeping the wave here means that Viego could potentially path up top lane again if he does show and the wave's kept here on a slow push. I could, you know, slow push all the way into a dive with him, or potentially with a slow push, Gangplank stays around long enough for my Viego to come. Another scenario is that Gangplank backs here for, I don't know, an item. If he gets Sheen or something, for example, if he had gold. I can build the whole wave up, make it bigger and bigger, crash dive, Gangplank has to deal with the wave. I can go into jungle, plant wards, maybe even look for a mid play on the Malzahar. Or maybe even catch someone at Rift, a Skull Crab if it was up. There's a lot of things I can do here. And it also gives you time to think. Like, what do I want to do next? My objective is just, you know, watching the map, trying to last hit, see where Gangplank is, and then kind of go off that. If Gangplank's around on my giant wave, I can end up diving the Gangplank with my Ignite coming up in 36 seconds. And also my level 6 timer as well. So that's like some things that you can think about as well. Yeah, right now we're just kind of last hitting, looking around, planning what to do next. Gangplank, So Gangplank ends up staying here, so I have that information now, and I can kind of like go off of what I want to do. Gangplank's positioning is already a little bit silly, so I could even abuse this here now too. With this Dirk and Boot start, I can just like ape all in this if I want to, but I also don't know where Wukong is. And I think this is something I should have thought about at the time as well. I didn't really track where Wukong was necessarily, and I'll just kind of go in here. I'll let this play out first. So we end up killing him here, but there's a lot of things that I also made a mistake of, and I want to like point out. So again, not knowing where Wukong was right away, like at the time, I didn't really consider my actions. Because I was slow pushing, maybe Wukong could have been sitting in the bush. He could have came out and killed me. Or like I'd have to waste a flash if I had it, or go for my dashes and be lower. And that loses a lot of momentum for me to like plan anything in advance. The next thing is, like, obviously I'm timing him to Q a minion, so I go in. This was good of me. So I kind of knew he would Q the minion here for gold. I go in, I Q first. Q cancel, get the first strike, bottom plate in. I try and follow him. I kind of dashed down because I didn't know if he was going to hit barrels right away, and I wanted to damage mitigate. I wanted to kill the barrel here, but obviously I was like a split second away from it. Now, I am doing the right thing here where I'm blocking him off. Gangplank has nowhere to run. This whole area here with how I've blocked him in has kept him here. So even if my dash might have not been the best, and maybe in a way it's good at the same time, like even if it didn't look as good, it still kept him on the side, and that's all that matters too. Because Gangplank has nowhere to run. He's tanking all this minion worth of damage. Like we have, you know, 3 minions here with 12 damage. We have all the casters with 27, cannon with 40. Like just look at his health here. Like he's just being nuked. He's taking even more damage poking me. Like that, we kill him. Even if it's just basic like that, I basically won that off mispositioning and timing. Like, timing, again, is everything. Him using a ability there, which procs his first strike, if he lands on me. You know, I go in off that, because he hasn't got it up. I keep him, like, cornered, and he has no choice to run there, and I catch him because I also bought the boots with my spare gold. So, yeah, right now, we're kind of just decimating him. We're 3-0-0, 50 CS, and he has 19 CS at 6 minutes. All at 6 minutes. Now, I have a giant wave. I'm going for play-ins here, but I do figure out that, what if I just dive him here now? I still have my ult. I still have Ignite. I have everything up. I can completely destroy him. If you have this lead over everybody, like, you can just dive whoever it is that comes top lane. But there's a few questions we have to ask here before we do that. A couple of those questions are, where is the mid laner? Where is jungle? Is what I'm doing good for my tempo? And right now, I was asking this question in my head, where is Wukong? So I'm actively looking at the map, like in this time, and as soon as I see Wukong bot lane here, I straight away go down here. And Gangplank obviously spawned and he's walking up. As we see here, he's right there. So my whole flowchart idea here is Wukong on the map? Yes. If so, I can go here. I can proxy. Is Malzahar on the map? Yes. If so, I can also go here. Gangplank has no way to get to lane here. The only way, like, I thought he might come is actually this way. Some players will end up going all the way around if you have no wards, and then sneak away here if you're, like, in the middle. That's something you need to be cautious of, and also to ward. Because if you have that ward here, you can just, like, walk this way and completely block them off. This is what we call croc blocking, which is a pretty OG term if you know Godrekton. And if you guys know Romanian, that's probably where you heard it from. Shout out to Romanian. I don't really have a ward right now, but I'm just like trying to keep my fury up. I double dash in. And we kill him. Doesn't have to be pretty. I just basically roll him every time. He can't really do anything. Malzahar's on the map. Everyone else is. He does Q me here, but it's also like a no-brainer. I'm in literally E's length of hitting him. So I E off minion. I double dash. I proc my empowered E. He's basically going to take true damage. He went from 50 armor to 37, and this is a thing that people underrate about empowered E. We can shred up to 35%, and by rank 1, it's 25%. And that is huge when you really think about it, because initiating with that armor pen is basically shredding. It's a whole another Dirk worth of lethality. Well, actually, no. It's a mythic item worth of lethality that I'm shredding off this target. And if we take away the 37, that's 27 armor left over. Now, I know that lethality has a linear scaling through the game in like its effectiveness, so it's not exactly 10 here, but still, let's just say it is like around 20 armor he's getting. And that's still like really insane. And that lets us nuke him. So right now, I auto. I completely destroy his bone plating. I W first just because I don't want to run any longer. I R. Also Q. Auto. And we just kill him here. A lot of people in lower ranks will be insanely tilted here when you do this. And being that this is like a Masters game, I believe. Like Diamond Masters. The guy could rage quit. Like there's a chance. And definitely in lower elo, like a lot of people will rage quit off situations like this as well. Now that I have the ward here, I can like go up this way. I didn't know where Malzahar or like Wukong ended up being, so I'll just put the ward down for my safety. Just to see if they're coming this way or if I have to run the tower. Now at this point, I have my Prowler's Claw at 7 minutes. A 7-minute Prowler's Claw is game ending. And while it's game ending, that doesn't necessarily mean that the game's over, because as a player, you need to be really accountable for your own mistakes, and even the slightest mistake can be very devastating. And that's like a whole nother thing I want to teach you guys here too. And just to explain what I could also do better. So you might be wondering now, how can I possibly throw my lead here? Well, simply just by dying. But how can I die here when I'm already this fed? Well, let me show you. So right now, I attempt to freeze here. Gangplank is not in vision. This is another game-ending play, by the way. At this point with Prowler's Claw, you want to set up these freezes with the minion wave. So the minion wave is intentionally here, and the enemy has to overextend. When the enemy overextends, like through this line, and I'm here, I dash, Prowler's Claw, and do my full combo. And the I get the enemy flash, I kill them again, and I just add more insult for injury. And then they miss like another whole worth of XP and gold. And that's pretty vital in a lane against Gangplank, where you need to put him behind as much as possible. And any gold that you're giving him is going to scale. And that's why I don't really recommend the whole pushing style, unless you know you can dive off it. So a lot of like the ways I want to play this lane is I just want to like play it near my tower, ideally. Yeah, right now, I pull the 3 minions here for a freeze. You can have 1 minion here, and as long as like it's just here and the whole minions join, you will get the push, and that'll give you the freeze. So it's like a little trick too if you don't have 4 minions. A lot of people think you need 4 minions for wave manipulation, but it's actually 3. Well, it's not even 3. It's just as many as like that's here. Like there's more. It's just simple mathematics, right? Like the side with more units is going to end up pushing to the other side because there's more damage, health, like, and it'll push longer. I mean, it'll push like gradually. But obviously, the more you have, the faster it pushes. So 3 is like a perfect number for me. So right now, the only way I can die here is like 1v2. And being that I'm in a situation where this could happen, this ends up what actually like happens. So Gangplank blows ult. He walks up here. A little bit of a... It's a little like suspicious that he did walk this way over here. And another thing is, with all these minions and me being 4-0-0 with Prowler's Claw, why would he do this? Why would he walk up intentionally and put a barrel down? That's because someone else is here. And that's another thing that you should note. If enemies are no longer scared of you and they're doing something very suspicious and just different, it's most likely that you're getting ganked. So right now, I kind of like fall into this trap. Gangplank does a lot of damage too. I get bone plating. I should have actually Prowler's here, but I kind of egoed on the fact that I thought I'd just kill him before that. And then obviously Wukong comes, ults me, and I end up dying. some people will be like, oh damn, I died to a jungle. Damn, what a noob. He got his jungler to come and they're a noob. They can't 1v1 me. Now as as funny as that is, like a lot of people actually believe like that it's not a big deal and that it's the enemy just being bad. Like when in reality it's my own fault though. I essentially just gave my free gold lead away to a champion that hyperscales. And being that it hyperscales too, it can end up being a snowballing effect of this champion just gain his items quicker than I can, and also just help him snowball into the game. And also because I gave Wukong that free assist, it gives him a lot of momentum too to also make a lot of gold. Now, I want to show you something crazy here. Something crazy, right? Before this, Gangplank had 2,000 gold, half my gold income. Which is also a bit crazy if you consider it, because I have 4 kills, I have double his CS, and he has half my gold income. Which is, again, a reason why this champion is broken, because this champion should not have that gold income. Like, being that he's died 4 times, he has lower farm than, you know, his other respected roles. Like, he should not have this. He should be, like, even more behind, I feel like. Because I have been, like, devastating him. And before this as well, he did have, like, less farm. But yeah. So, he has 2,000 for, like, 40 total gold and 550, let's say. Now, by the point that I die... Watch the gold. Look how much he just made. He literally just, like, made 1,000 off that. Now, if you watch him take platings, and with his jungler too. How much did Wukong get overall? So overall, like, we just gave Gangplank 1,000 extra gold for free. And considering that all his items are super cheap, he's going to go back on the Essence Reaper now. And because he probably has Future Market too. Is that Future Market? He actually doesn't. Okay. But either way, like, being that he gets all this and so on, and Essence Reaper being cheap, he builds it, gets 55 extra damage, 20 crit, 20 ability haste. He has his item now to do damage. This item is what makes Gangplank broken. And it is also the reason that, like, you know, it's unfair. But look at the gold leads too now. He had 2,000 to begin with. Now he has 3,300. So 1,300 in that whole time. You know, like, he's only 900 gold behind me after I was, like, destroying him. This is why actions have consequences. And this is why you also need to be wary about the situation. Now, if I did play it better and I didn't ego, I would kill Gangplank there and I would survive. But again, it's just something to think about that I was getting ganked in the moment and I should have considered that. So what do I do now? I gave him a pretty lengthy bit of gold. So what can I do? Well, again, I'm still strong. I still have my Prowler's Claw. Like, I still have a lot of things to work with. I just got a bit cocky and I kind of made a mistake. Still, we're really strong. I do have Prowlers, so I can one-shot him. He did buy 1 cloth armor, which doesn't really matter. Right now, I'm building a slow push. I end up warding here. Don't want to get ganked by Wukong again. Gonna play the matchup like I've been playing. Do some quick combos. EQ. End up doing the same damage. He messes up barrel there. So I have a giant minion wave. EQ'd. I got bone plating. I've got the mental factors out the way. The only thing that I don't have is the W. But I'm pretty confident in my diving ability here. But first of all, I'll auto the barrel. Don't need to shoot that and lose, like, you know, 30% of my health. Then I have the barrel. I also tower once. Auto first. I'll let it play out first. So to go back. First of all, I want that 50 Fury. If I don't have that 50 Fury for W, I'm missing out a lot of damage. So I want to make sure I get it right. Auto tower, just playing auto once here. W, R, Prowler here first. I Prowler for the reposition. So it gets me on this side. I Prowler Q, then I flash E and then like E out as well. So all the rest of my damage got amped. I probably could have prowled first, but I also didn't think I needed to right away, and it's just a way of like being in a bad position for myself there. Yeah, we kill Gangplank on the tower. He misses like more gold and XP. Gonna take an extra plane here. We do get the TP. Now, again, my wave is in a bad spot here. It's not a cannon wave. Backing on a cannon wave is pretty essential the majority of the time. And being that I don't have the cannon wave here, he's gonna one-shot then take platings on the way. So it's a bad... It's pretty bad for me regardless here because he TP'd in. So I kind of need to stay. And I am confident again that I can kill him. It's just playing it right. So this is kind of like what I do next now. I'm waiting in the bush. He has no idea. He probably thinks that I back for an item. Like, I've had Prowler's Claw boots for a while, so he probably thinks like I've back for an item. He's a little bit wary, of course. He doesn't know what to expect. Probably watching bot lane. Now I do show out here just because I don't know. I wanted to keep my Fury. Prioritizing Fury is pretty important here, so I do just come out. But again, in the moment, he didn't really know where I was. Just the mental side of things. Sometimes you can afford to let him like walk up, and then I go in after he uses barrels. But again, I didn't really have a lot to work with there, so I just come out. I tried to push out here. Because I want to back. And being that the wave is in a better timing here, there's nothing else to really take here for him. So by the time this cannon wave gets here, it's going to take him longer to push. So I kind of have to stay here to fix the wave. This is why it's also important to read the wave states. I get the Plight Steel Caps here. Pretty good for that team comp against the Senna, Wukong, Gangplank. I have Tenacity and Runes already for the stuns, so it's not really a big problem, anything else. So I don't really need to worry about that. Next, I go Blair Rune King. Pretty standard here. Nothing really too different about, you know, from normal Renekton gameplay. So here, I'm building my Fury. I have 100 Fury, so this, tied with my ult, can end up getting me a combo. I should be first here. Like, in my head, I'm first to lane because he backed at a different time compared to me. I control ward this. I'm going to zone in from the minions here. Because I'm first here and have all this Fury, Gangplank can't do anything. I knew the last time I dove him, he had no flash, and now he has nowhere to run. I didn't really consider where Malzahar or Wukong was on the map, but being that I'm in this position, I feel like I can just, you know, go for this and zone him off. Right now, he's missing all this golden XP. Pretty big, you know, trying to keep my lead up. I do want to dash on him and, like, go for a Prowler's Claw, but I'm actually out of range here. So I have to, like, end up using my Fury to get out. So a little bit bad at me, but I did, like, end up denying him properly from the minions and XP. So ultimately, it's worth, you know, it's definitely worth here. So I did a little trade here just to proc his bone plane again. Get his W as well. His W has a high cooldown. That's another thing I forgot to talk about. So it's actually like pretty short. Now without the Essence Reaver, I believe it's like 22 seconds, I think. I think it's 22 seconds. So, you know, that's a pretty big time length to also abuse him. Being that our E is 18 seconds rank 1 and like no CDR, I kind of end up abusing that. And it's also like another thing you want to do if you are going to go for trades. I'm playing more off minion waves this game and like just straight up all-ins. So that's kind of like what I've been aiming for. Gangplank's mistake here is he also just W'd randomly to keep his health up. Right now I'm just trying to like dive with this. I know I can perma-dive with a cannon wave and also like my ult Prowler's Claw. So it's like what I'm aiming for. But because he's walking up to me like he owns the place, I'm just gonna, you know, do a fast combo. And end up killing him here. And with that, we are 6-1, 114 CS. About to take first tower. Turret plane's about to fall. Like, all this worked out pretty well because before I killed him, the turret planes were about to fall. So, because I didn't waste any more time, I'm able to also get that as well. And also empower my lead even more for the for the game. So right now, I want to get this tower low enough, and also want him to miss minions. I probably didn't need to auto it this much, but I did it low enough to where like he misses like more minions. So I'm just gonna stay here. Gonna deny all the minions and XP. Probably should have hit it a bit less, which I probably definitely should have done better. Ultimately, he missed all these minions. And by the end of laning phase, we end up being 7,500 gold to his 4,600 on a champion that has lots of gold regeneration and also a point where I also entered. So, in perspective, he probably could have been like 3,000 gold, honestly. Like, he probably could have been like 3,000 gold. But because I died and gave him extra gold, he ended up having this like, this extra comeback. But he's still behind. Like, what I want to like end off here with this like little mini laning phase VOD review, which I just wanted to touch on because a lot of people don't have to play the early game against Gangplank, is that like deaths are important. Every death that you can minimize will make a huge difference on your games. Even if there's games where your team simply just auto loses, which does sadly kind of happen with this one, unfortunately. Like it still makes a big difference because every gold that you're throwing, like up to 1,000 golds worth, like it's going to the enemy and that's giving them their items. And on a champion that's a Gangplank or someone that can have really hyperscale, like huge hyperscaling, it's a pretty big deal. And it's something that like I want to conclude with, which is make sure you know why you die. If you know why you die, you have more control on your actions, and ultimately you have more control of the game too, because you know your own risk and like you know your own limits of what you can and what you can't do. With that said, I think that's basically it for this video. It's been a 40-minute video of this lane talking in like a lot of different things about how to play laning phase and dominate, I guess, a Gangplank here. Probably could have simplified it a bit more, but as I'm recording this, it is nearly 11 o'clock at night and I'm pretty tired from a pretty long day. So yeah, I just thought I'd make a VOD review. If you guys like these type of videos, like these extensive knowledge on matchups, like just let me know what else you would like. I don't want to just cover laning phases, but I do want to also cover like things like macro play. I want to cover like the coming back from behind, like my thoughts on like certain moment scenarios that we need to play out. Like I'm gonna make this like a pretty lengthy series. I don't know what I'll call it right now at this stage in the video, but I'll end up like making it some kind of informative educational series where I kind of go into the fundamentals of the game more often. And this one is definitely about the early game and abusing a champion like Gangplank. With that said, thank you very much for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed and you want to see more other content, definitely give me a subscribe. Definitely like my videos. Comment down below for the algorithm. Also, make sure to check out my Twitch. I play all my games on twitch.tv, Godrekton_. Check out my TikTok too for shorts if you guys want smaller content. I'm going to start posting on there again. And yeah, that's essentially it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.